Hey everyone, my name is Robin and I am the Power BI instructor, and this video is from my Power BI DAX Super User course. In this short little video, we will review the date and time functions. We will look at the standard day, month, and year functions, as well as the DateDiff calculation, and not to mention the features in the PQE that help determine your oldest date, youngest date, and the age of your records. Remember, the entire DAX Super User course can be found on my site. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the other side. Welcome back everyone to date and time functions category, where we will deal with some of the common date functions. Again, a lot of these come over from Excel, so if you've done these in Excel, these will be easy for you. And those are the common ones like day, month, year, weekday, and week num. So those behave the same as they do over in Excel as they do over here. We'll also introduce the DateDiff, which is a date calculation. Now, you may ask, well, why are we doing this? We have a rolling calendar, and you're correct. That's one reason why we have a rolling calendar, so it gets done over there. But not everybody is going to have 10, 15 tables or 10, 15 sources. You may only have one source, so you're not going to create a rolling calendar just for one source of data. Okay, so therefore you're going to need to do these. But you can see once we start doing these why we have a rolling calendar, because you're going to see you do not want to do this for every table that has a date field in it. All right, so let's get doing some of these. And we are going to do it in the projects table this time, because the projects table does have a date field. It's the start date of the project. So from here, create a new column, and we'll call this one day equals, and we're just going to use a day function. And you can see how simple it is. It's just day and then the start date in the project. So you're saying go to the project start date column, which we know is a date, and tell me the day. And the answer should be enter key, there it is, 17th. So you can see the first record is Saturday, April 17th, and it pulls out to 17th. So all is good. Do another new column, and we'll call it month equals, and it's going to be the month function. Also start date. Now, just an FYI, you notice when I did the day, I capitalized day, and over here I'm not capitalizing month. And this is where some people consider DAX to be somewhat sloppy because it's not case sensitive, whereas the M language is. So typically though, you would put the function names in caps so you know that there are functions, but you can see you can get away without capitalizing them. All right, hit enter, and it's the 4th. Sure enough, because it's April. And we'll do one more. We'll call it year equals the year function. Again, looking at the project start date. That's all it is. It's just the function name and then the field you're referencing, enter key, and it pulls out the year of that project start date. Okay, so pretty straightforward, just day, month, and year, and the field name to pull it out. But you know, we already have those. If you went to the rolling calendar, we have year, month, and day, and we did it through the M language. So all I'm showing you here is in the projects table how to do it using DAX functions. Let's do two more from the projects table. Another new column. We're going to call this one project start day. Proj start day equals weekday. And again, it's going to be the start date. Now this might be return a little different answer for you than you were expecting. So again, back to the first date, you can see the start date was Saturday, April 17th, and the start date here is 7. Because Saturday is 7 in Microsoft World. Sunday is 1, and then 2, 3, 4, all the way to 7. And you say, well, why would I like that or need that? Well, if things are done on a certain day of the week, you may charge a different rate, for example, or a shipping rate. So knowing on when it was shipped will help you determine the rates. And likewise, let's do one more new column, and we're going to call this project start week. And it's the week num function, also referring to the start project date. And the answer is 16. So remember, there's 52 weeks in the year. So what week number is it starting on? That's the week num. Okay, so that is the basic ones that we could have done, or we have done some of them in the PQE. Okay, now let's do one more. And because this one, I can see most of you using this at some point. So you can see here the start date is as is. The question is, I want to know how many days have passed between that date and today's date. All right, so new column. We're calling this days passed equals, it's a DateDiff function where it needs 3 arguments. The first argument is, well, what's the starting date? Well, that's the start. We just happen to have it as start date is the field, comma, today. So the today bracket is the system date. So whatever, and that's a common one from Excel as well. And you can see here after the comma, you can choose any one of these 7 or 8 options. How do you want Power BI to return the answer? We want it to return it in days or day. So you could have chosen month or year. Hit the enter key and you will get how many days have passed since that date of the start date. So for all of you who are doing invoicing and you have that whole 90-day due date, well, now you know how to do that. And then once you know it's over 90 days, then you can send out emails or whatnot, or send it to collection agency. So that DateDiff is a very popular one to use. Okay. What I want to do though is go back into the Power Query editor on the rolling calendar, because I want to show you just a couple other features that are there. So right click on your rolling calendar and edit query. Give it a second. Okay, selecting that column, the date column in the rolling calendar, there's 2 features you may like here. Now we're doing it on the rolling calendar because it's got the most dates in it. Come over to transform and then date, and you see here earliest and latest. So if we choose earliest, it will tell you the earliest date it sees in that list of dates. And of course it gets rid of everything because we use the transform ribbon on that. So you have to come over here to the right side and delete this last calculate earliest feature. And then if we do it again from the transform ribbon, date, latest, it'll show you the last date it sees in that list. And again, we have to delete it over here on the right to return everything. So these 2 features underneath the transform ribbon, date, and then earliest, latest, these are very useful when you have a source data that you're not familiar with and you just want to see what your date range is, because you would actually need to do that before you do a rolling calendar. Because remember, when we did the rolling calendar, we knew to start on January 15th. So you'd use these features to see what is the earliest date. So hypothetically, if I go to my, let's see, projects, because we know the projects has a date in here. So if I select that and do the same thing in projects, date earliest, what's January 15th? Well, okay, we already knew that from our data. Okay, and again, delete the step on the right. So still sticking with the rolling calendar, the last thing to show you that's also in here is if you select the date column again, and this time you want to go to the add column ribbon. not the transform, the add column, date, and choose age. If you choose age, you will now get numbers here on the right. We're going to have to switch the type here to whole numbers. There we go. Okay, so now you can see the actual how many days have passed since those days, the original dates on the left side. This is equivalent of doing the DateDiff function. So if you do that here in a rolling calendar, you can avoid doing the DateDiff. All right. So don't forget to save and close your Power Query editor. There should be no headaches on the saving and the applying of changes. There you have it. So in the projects table, we have a couple, DAX functions to get us that information, or you could have done it in the rolling calendar. All right. That wraps up that topic. We'll see you in the next one for conversion functions.